Hi guys, my name is Bex and welcome back to my channel, and today I'm bringing to you my March wrap-up. It was a huge month, and I cannot even believe the amount of books that I have devoured this month. There were so many amazing reads, and I just can't wait to share them with you. So let's get started on my stats for March. Now, first of all, let me point out that these stats are not going to match up to the books that I'm going to be showing you today, because we are in the middle of the Superhero-thon, which is a readathon hosted by myself, Grace from G Schools Books. I will leave a link to the announcement video up here and you can go check it out, but it is a 2-week readathon and it runs over the end of March and the beginning of April. So what I'm going to do today is just run through the books that I've read in March before the Superhero-thon, and then I will do a specific wrap-up for the Superhero-thon after. However, my stats are going to include all of the books. So overall, in the month of March, I read 10 books. However, I will only be telling you about 6 of them today because the other 4 I read during the Superhero-thon. So my stats will include the books, but the books I'll talk about won't be matching up, if you know what I mean. I read a total of 3,265 pages across 10 books. I read 2 fantasy, 3 contemporary, 4 sci-fi, and 1 superhero book, which is sort of fantasy, but I didn't really know where to categorize it, so it's just classed as superhero. Over the month, I read 7 physical books, 2 graphic novels, and 1 comic book. I also had 1 3-star book, 1 3.5-star book, 3 4-star books, 2 4.5-star books, and 3 5-star books, which is the biggest 5-star ratings I've given this year's, and I'm pretty excited to talk about those books. So that being said, that is all my stats for the month, and let's talk about the books that I read before the Superhero-thon started. So the first book I read in the month of March was Hero at the Fall by Alwyn Hamilton, and this was provided to me by Alan and Unwin for a review for you guys, so thank you very much to Alan and Unwin for supplying this one to me to review for you guys. Now, Hero at the Fall is the 3rd book in the Rebel of the Sands trilogy, and it's such a good trilogy. I first read Rebel of the Sands 2 years ago, and I could not stop thinking about it, and I'm so glad I got my hands on the finale of this trilogy. Rebel of the Sands follows a girl named Amani who lives in a dead-end dust-walk town in the middle of the desert, and it's basically going nowhere. You either end up wed or you end up dead, and Amani does not want to be either of those things, so she ends up escaping with a mysterious stranger and goes across the desert, and she ends up in the middle of a rebellion, and I'm not sure she really knows how that happened, but it is really good. I gave this book a 5 out of 5 stars. Traitor to the Throne was not my favourite, but I really enjoyed Rebel of the Sands, but Hero at the Fall just kicked all of that out of the water, and I think it was just such a good way to finish off the trilogy. It was atmospheric, and the female lead is badass, but there are also some side characters that are just fantastic. But yes, overall I definitely recommend the Hero at the Fall trilogy, and I can't believe it's over, and I'm really sad about it, but I really enjoyed reading it. The next book I read was The Hanging Girl by Eileen Cook, and this one was also provided to me by Alan and Unwin, so thank you very much to Alan and Unwin. I enjoyed this one more than I thought it was. So The Hanging Girl follows a girl named Skye, who is basically, she's a con woman. She reads tarot cards, kind of lies about having premonitions and knowing things that others don't. But she gets caught up when a girl is kidnapped and she is helping the police to find her. However, things take a dark turn and Skye is well in the middle of it. The thing about Eileen's writing, I read her first book, which is With Malice, and I absolutely hated it. So I went into this one a little bit skeptical, I guess, but I wanted to give it a go anyway because I thought the premise was really interesting. It was like a dark contemporary, which I don't really normally read, but I just wanted to give it a go anyway, and I ended up enjoying it. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5 stars. Eileen Cook has a way of writing unlikable characters, and normally I hate unlikable characters, but I didn't necessarily mind it in this one. It was full of betrayal and psychic predictions, and I found this read very unpredictable. Things that happened, I was shooketh, but I enjoyed it. It was 3.5 out of 5 star read. I wouldn't read it again, but I enjoyed it enough to get through it, so I think that's pretty good. I thought it was okay. The next book I read in the month of March was Waking Gods by Sylvain Neuvel, and holy goodness, I enjoyed this one. This is the 2nd book in the Themis files or something like that. I cannot really remember off the top of my head, but it was really enjoyable. This one is told with mixed multimedia like Illuminate is, and it's really interesting. I loved Waking Gods. I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars, and this follows Sleeping Giants, where Sleeping Giants is basically about a little girl who was, when she was 6, she fell in a hole and landed on like a big metal hand, and it's about them like bringing the different parts of this Metal God, I suppose, together, and it was really enjoyable. So I continued on with Waking Gods, and this one left me like terrified at what the writer could actually do to these characters. I can honestly say that no character is safe in these books, and I really enjoyed it. It was really, really good. It was an interesting sci-fi, and it was intense and heartbreaking, and I really blame Jess from Jess Reads Books for making me want to read this one and for my heart breaking. Don't know how to feel about it, and I don't know how to feel about the next book, which is coming out this year, which is Only Human. But Jess and I are going to buddy read that one, and hopefully we can be destroyed together. The next book I read in the month of March was Saga Volume 4 by Brian K. Vaughan. It is a like Romeo and Juliet story, but with aliens in space, and they've got heaps of assassins after them, and they have a baby and they're not supposed to, and yeah, it's a lot of war going on up there, but it's really, really good. I feel like this series gets better and better, and it gets more emotional every time. It's always funny and crude and entertaining, and the characters are just on point, and I really, really like it. If you like a dirty sense of humor, this series is for you. But I ended up giving it a 4.5 out of 5 stars, and I cannot wait to continue on with the series. Alright guys, next up is what you have all been waiting for. It is Obsidio by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. This is the third book in the Illuminae files, and it did not disappoint. The first one follows Caddy and Ezra, the second one follows Hannah and Nick, and the third one, which is Obsidio, follows Asher and Reese. This is the final book, and it definitely did not disappoint. It had me in tears at some points. It had me very, very stressed. It is a very, very suspenseful read. It is emotional, it is brutal, and it is absolute perfection. So of course I gave this a 5 out of 5 stars, and I cannot believe this journey's over. I really can't. I kind of want more, but it ended perfectly, so at least I don't have to be stressed for another 12 months and waiting for another book. And the last book I read in the month of March that I'll be talking about today is We Are Okay by Nina LaCour. This is a contemporary about a girl named Marin who flees from her town to go to college and doesn't talk to anyone from that town, and she's going through a lot of stuff. A very short book, like it's only about 200 pages, but it is an emotional journey full of grief, heartbreak, and loneliness, and I really, really enjoy it. Marin's best friend Mabel from her old town comes to visit her in New York, and it's basically talking about the relationship they had and what they will have going forward, and it's next level. It is absolutely next level. I really enjoyed it, and I gave it a 4 out of 5 stars. I do think it was missing some things, but I think it was really, really enjoyable anyway. I definitely enjoyed it, and it was quick, but it packed full of punch. I was crying nearly the whole time. And this one, yeah, this one was really bittersweet, and I really, really enjoyed it. That's it guys. Those are the 6 books that I'll be talking about today, and I will continue with the 4 books I read in the rest of March in my next wrap up, which will be in a week or so's time after we finish the superhero-a-thon. I hope you enjoyed. I read some interesting and amazing books this month, and I was excited to talk to you about them. So that's it from me today guys. If you like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, subscribe if you'd like to see more and have not already, and chat to me down in the comments. Let me know what books you read in the month of March and what you gave 5 out of 5 stars, because I always love recommendations. That's it from me today guys. I make videos every Monday and Thursday, and I'll see you in a new one. Bye!